LG here. This is episode 6 of Hot Mess to Hope with me and my baby Sissy.
Hi, I'm Skylar. My sobriety date is 6/26/21. I said it this time.
That's a good day. Probably wasn't a good day. It probably wasn't a good day. It's a good day now.
It's a good day now. How are you?
I'm good. I missed you.
I missed you.
We missed y'all. And
Yes.
so we love our Monday nights. We get up on Mondays and we're like, oh my gosh, it's tonight. Yay. What are we going to talk about? We're like,
It's today.
And then we're like, I don't know. So I don't know either. So, but we're excited to be here talking all things addiction, food addiction, drug addiction, whatever it is. That was
All
a door
things.
slamming. All things addiction. It's okay.
All things addiction. Today I think we're going to switch it up a little bit though.
Okay.
I mean, it does involve addiction and, our journey.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, I'm following you, kid. It's back to school week. So your kids go tomorrow.
yes, my mother-in-law is excited.
Yes.
Me, it's just another day.
Right. So mine starts next week on the 22nd.
Oh, okay.
But I think my
Okay.
grandbabies start Wednesday in College Station. And so
Oh,
Brian,
okay.
yeah. So you all start tomorrow.
Yes.
Are they excited?
Jessie is. Chloe, not so much. I don't blame her. Her school looks like a prison.
Stop. It's just not elementary school.
I've never been to prison, but if I had, I imagine it being like that.
Yeah.
No. But this weekend was eventful.
Okay, let's talk about this weekend.
Yes, I have to.
Okay.
I'm so excited. So if some of you have followed my story or some of you have not followed my story, I'll give you a brief update on, you've heard me in the past say, I have 3 kids, a 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 10-year-old. Well, my 15-year-old, I haven't been a part of his life in 5 years. My fault, not his fault, not his daddy's fault, no one's fault but my own. But since I've been sober, I've been trying to get in touch with him, trying to find him, and meet up with them and, see him and do what I can, try to be there for him however that may look, right? Because I really didn't know what it looked like. So I been keeping in touch with his dad since I've been sober. And then last week I started asking if I could, maybe do something for Jaden before he goes back to school, whatever. And then finally I just came out and was like, let me take him to get shoes or some clothes. And then I backtracked and was like, you know what? Maybe not so much school shopping, but shoes I can do.
You're not a shopper.
No, I'm not. And he said yes. So Saturday I reunited with my 15-year-old for the first time after 5 years.
God, it's so good.
And the first thing I could think was, a blessing it was, because, whenever it all took place and everything happened and everything just fell into place. And whenever you stand back and you look at it, it was a complete God thing. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. How everything of leading up to that day, to that moment, was in God's hands. Like, it was out of my hands. And I prayed the whole time, of course, on my way there, for God to give me the strength and the courage and the words whenever he, for whatever, to have me prepared for whatever was to take place, right?
What did you expect to take place?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I was expecting. But it went better than what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I was expecting. And he asked me 1,001 questions. And I just went with the flow and I just answered every single one of them. Even as, as deep as, well, why did it take you so long to get sober? And I just, I was open and I was honest with him. It was beautiful. It was so beautiful. The day was not near as long enough. I wanted more time. So that was emotional. I held it together the whole time until Chloe was reunited with him. And then I lost it. because she lost it and then I lost it. And then whenever I got home and settled down and the adrenaline went away, and I was settled.
No, because she remembers her brother.
She does. Jessie did not. Jessie was like, "Who are you?" But she does remember him. And if you'll remember correctly, I had the school teachers call me one time during elementary school because all she was talking about was her brother, Jaden. So I had the teacher calling me, and I'm like, mind your business.
We love teacher. Your job is hard.
I know. But anyways, I'm like, I know, she's fine.
That was the addiction job.
What? It most definitely was. I was horrible. But anyways, so, I had that part. And then when I did get sober and I put her in therapy because I realized that she was struggling still with Jaden.
Sure.
She talked about Jaden a lot in therapy. So anyway, so it was a really, really big deal for her. And whenever she left, she continued shopping with a very close friend of mine. She continued shopping with her because she was actually there to help me shop for Jessie and Chloe because I can't do shopping.
Yeah.
So it was really weird. But anyways, so she left and she told my dear friend that she said, "I've been praying to see Jaden even just for a minute."
Aw.
And it broke my heart. I was like, oh my goodness. So with that being said, I want to talk about God doing for us what we can never do for ourselves. I want to talk about the miracles that have happened. And someone pointed out to me that they are X amount of days sober, and they still, even if they don't see the grace and the love in their lives through God, they see it through other people. And he was like, and I got to witness that over the weekend. And then there was another person that said, I just watched a miracle happen. God is amazing.
With
God.
watching you with Jaden.
Right.
That was encouraging them.
Yes. And so, like, all of these people reached out to me. And even that day, so many people called me and was like, oh my goodness, I had so much support and so much love and care, and everybody was just amazed at watching what just took place, right? Because they know the situation, they know the story behind it, and then they just watched this miracle unfold, and they were just blown away.
Well, and you were so good to give God the glory for that. You were like, this is God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. That was your post, and it was, you're not sitting here like, okay, I've done it. I'm doing great now, and so everything's falling. You're not doing that. You're like on your face all the time.
Oh my goodness! Like, I've been in complete prayer since that day, and it's gonna make me emotional and cry, but I don't want to cry. But whenever you're doing good, I remember at the beginning of getting sober, like, we saw the little miracles happen, which I didn't really realize they were miracles until you pointed them out. Mm-hmm. The deal with my job and everything, Yeah. Sometimes it's hard for people to see those things, but I did. But this Saturday, I got to see it, and I got to feel it, and I felt his presence, and I felt it.
Yeah.
And it was amazing, So of course, who more could I give credit to than him,
Better than any high, right?
I'm better than any high. Better than any high.
Yeah.
I think I keep describing the feeling as like after a mom goes into labor and holds her newborn baby for the first time, and she's like, oh my gosh, my whole world has just changed. I feel like that was me. Like, I'm just obsessed with him. I'm looking at his photo, and I'm
I noticed you in church yesterday. You kept just opening your phone.
I know. I've done it all night. Like, I'm sure I bother everyone up with my phone. Like, I fall asleep with him. Yeah. Like, I'm just staring at him. He's so handsome. If y'all haven't seen him, y'all should go look on my Facebook page. He's probably the first thing right after me posting.
And he's so
about
short.
This.
I'm so, he's so short. I'm so sorry that he's height challenged. I got the picture. I said, oh my gosh, he's 7 feet tall.
Yeah, he's taller than Michael.
He's tall. Super tall.
So, it was beautiful. It was the best. So, with that is a huge miracle. So, for one, because, this was the reason that most people said that I would never get sober. I would never get sober because I chose to walk away from Jaden, and then I lost him. Like, it disappeared. I couldn't find him. I couldn't keep up with him. I couldn't do that. So, and I stayed in that downward spiral, and I'm not going to say that was the main cause of my addiction, because I was an addict because I liked it. But there was a people in my life that said, oh, she can never get sober because of Jaden. There's no way. Or because of Daddy. You know, those are the two things that were keeping me back. And here I am, over a year sober, and this miracle has unfolded in front of me.
Yes.
And in front of all of you who are following or watching or even know. Like, it's... You just, if you know, you know. That's all I have to say on that one. Yeah. So with that, I know Whitney. That you...
Hey, Jessica. Hey, Connie.
Hey, guys.
Whitney's on. Cousin Whitney.
Oh, hey. Hi. I didn't even know. Yeah, I do remember her. Yes, okay. I remember.
Making sure you're
It looks
you're
like
sober,
she has blonde hair in that. Hi. That's so funny.
That is fun.
Wow. That's been a while. So, God doing for us what we couldn't do for ourselves. And I know that you have experienced many of those through your
crazy
journey.
Stuff. Crazy stuff.
Have you ever told anyone the crazy things?
Yeah, and so I mean, like, I've blogged some things, and I think it's really cool, like, how you can, and I actually, you know, would talk about it to anybody, like, just seeing the God moments and just really hanging on to those moments, and that's what you're seeing right now, and so it's really cool to be able to see that. It really is. And I sit back and go, ooh, that was God. Ooh, that was God.
Yeah.
You know, and like we talked earlier, and It's the crazy things that, like, where you get this moment where your feelings and your emotions are all involved, and like we come from this situation of, you know, poverty and trying to, you know, make ends meet and going day to day, and I mean literally day to day, and, you know, waking up going, okay, I'm gonna have to sell, you know, 3 shakes and a Renew for dinner, you know, whatever it is, you know, trying to figure out, you know, how to make that work, and then so it would be like whenever you're down to the wire. You know, and it's looking like nothing's going to happen, and then somebody out of the blue will, you know, message me and be like, hey, I need to place an order, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get that shake because that's all that I need, you know, and then it would be like a $300 order or something insane that would happen where, you know, it's just gone because it's the last minute of whatever's happening. But one of the cool stories was, and it would take a long time to really explain all of it because there were several pieces that came into it, but you know, we living out here. Billy was he was disabled, couldn't do anything, and our grass was, you know, 1,000,000
Love
feet
you,
tall,
Daddy.
and like 1,000,000 feet tall in the yard. And so he can't mow. I don't have any equipment. I ain't gonna get out there and do it anyway. I mean, let's just be real here. And so his brother came out, and I'm like, oh my God, this is such an amazing thing. His brother's gonna come out. He's gonna mow the grass. I'm not gonna have a snake get in my house. It's gonna be good. All things are gonna be great. So he does this pass through in the yard, the mower collapses, right? And I went, are you kidding me? So there's a strip in my yard that was mowed. And I was so mad, I could have, like, killed somebody. And so then I'm just mad, you know, right. And you go through that thing, nothing ever going right.
Yeah.
I can't have nothing, you know, all that silly stuff. And then, so I was mad. And I was grateful that he attempted it, but I was mad that, you know, it took so long to get somebody out here. My husband can't do this. I can't do this. I don't have a lawnmower, and now this lawnmower didn't work. And so you're going through all that pity party. That night we're in bed. No, it's like, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning. And it sounds like a hurricane or something. I wake up screaming, and I'm like, I'm looking, and y'all, there is this, like, water just, like, coming out. So obviously a pipe under the sink had burst, and so now there's water everywhere. Okay, so to turn the water off, it's at the road. It's
where the grass
road. It's at the road.
20 foot tall.
Yes, it's at the road. And so I'm sitting here like, what are we gonna do? Because we gotta turn the water off, and my husband can't walk. Oh my God. And so I'm out here like, okay, what are we gonna do? And the strip that was mowed in the yard was what was needed to go from literally our step to where the water meter is. And so we were able to just walk this path at 2 a.m. and turn the water off. And I was like, I am so sorry that I was being a turkey. And then I was sitting there going, how am I going to pay for it? Well, I got paid. Like, that was the day that I had gotten paid. So I was able to then fix the thing. And so God really just worked all that out. And he's done so many of those things where, and that's really the way that God shows up for me, is in the provision for our family. Because it's scary when you are in this situation where you're, in business for yourself. That's always hard, whenever you're not having this steady, 9 to 5 or whatever, this income. It depends on your production, right? And so you're having to perform, you're having to sell, you're having to do these things. And then your husband literally cannot walk. So he's in bed, can't do anything. And so the weight of that is hard whenever you have these 2 kids at home, and you're like, what am I going to do? Because it's here, it's on my shoulders. And just whenever it seemed like it was the end of it, God would always show up.
Yeah.
And so for me, whenever I think, just the relationship with God, he shows up as, Jehovah Jireh, God will provide everything. And so it's given me so much faith in that, where I'm like, it can't even matter.
Right.
Nothing's going to matter, because he's going to show up. He may not show up at the front of it, but by the time that, you think his timing is perfect.
Right.
And so whenever you're like, just like whenever you were talking about your teeth, and you were like, it is this many thousands of dollars or whatever to get my teeth fixed, and I'm like, well, just pray for that. He will give you whatever you need.
Yeah.
He don't want you to have nasty teeth. And you did. And so, it's like, it's so cool to see it happen, but now I'm almost just like, did you pray through that? Because he gonna show up.
Right.
And so then, like, the kids kind of were starting to get a little bit scared with some of the things that were happening. They were like, if Mom starts praying for it, we better watch it, because it's going to happen.
Right.
And so, but I love that. I love that people could see it, because that's what it does do. Just like this weekend, you were able to encourage others in their faith because they saw a miracle unfold.
Right.
And that's really what happened within my family too, and seeing, wherever the struggles are, that God's always going to show up. He's always going to provide whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it may not look the way that we want it to look or think it's going to look, but it's always going to be better.
Right, exactly.
It is always going to be better.
I noticed like the huge difference from whenever I was in addiction and praying to God for whatever I was praying for, and then waking up, like not even remembering that I prayed, hey, I don't want to be like this no more, and then wake up and using again like I never even prayed the night before.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. But like I do remember like praying for and I always make fun of this part too, because I'm like, I say the same thing. Be careful what you pray for, because if you never know how he's going to present it to you. Mm-hmm. So for instance, whenever I was like praying, like faithfully praying daily, like nonstop daily, God, please help me lose this weight. This is so miserable. I don't want to relapse because I'm gaining 50 pounds in a week. Like, that was my concern. I was like, God, please, I don't want to relapse, and this is going to make me relapse. I'm gaining way too much weight. I'm so uncomfortable in my own skin. I'm ugly. My teeth are falling out. Like, this was horrible. And then I got this horrible stomach bug.
You did?
Like, horrible. It was so bad. Like, I walked in the door, like, half naked. My mother-in-law was like, what the heck just happened to you? Stay away from me. I don't want to catch it. And I'm hovering over the toilet. 2 hours later, she's sick. Like, it was horrible. Like, I had to call into work. And this was like a good 12 to 24 hour bug, right? And as I'm throwing up in the toilet, over in this thing, I remember I stopped for a second and I was like, okay, God, this isn't really what I had in mind.
God did not give me a stomach bug.
But you know what I mean? That was my thought. Like, this really isn't what I had in
What
mind.
I thought. Yeah.
But like, it was so bad. Like, I went and I, asked the pastor to pray for me.
What you did? The whole congregation was praying for your weight loss.
So, it's just like little things like that. Like, y'all just be careful, because, I'm not saying God gave me the stomach bug. That's not what I'm saying. But
it did happen when you were praying for weight loss.
It did. And so that's what's so funny. Like, oh, okay. I told Billy, it was like, show off.
Yeah.
But,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. It's great. Usually Mondays at work are really, really hard, right? And by, I would say lunchtime, but That's me giving the guys grace if I say by lunchtime. Usually by 10, I'm yelling at them all. Literally yelling at them all, right? And today, like, I was just running all over the place, just
you were floating.
Doing what I usually do, right? And they'd say something stupid. And I'm just like, y'all ain't gonna break me today. There ain't nothing you can say to take my sunshine away. Like, what do you need? What do you need? What do you... So I was the shuttle driver. I was the coffee stalker. I had to run up and down the stairs 3 times for some sticky notes, some highlighters, and some paper clips. Well, you aren't praying
for weight loss.
Yeah, seriously. There is an elevator, but I choose to use the steps.
Look at you. That's a good choice.
Thank you.
I would not make that same choice.
No,
it would be the elevator airtime.
I did. And then it was just a great day. Like, but seriously, usually by 10 o'clock on a Monday, I'm yelling at all of them. Like, and I work with a bunch of guys, so, and I'm really trying to control, like, my anger or the way I talk. But sometimes when you're in that environment, like, I forget that I'm a lady and I shouldn't talk that way sometimes.
Yeah.
But those guys bring the worst out of me. But I love them to death, so I'll do anything for them. It's crazy. It's weird.
So our brother got emotional on your post, and that made us a little emotional.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Because we've all been praying for that with Jaden, and I mean, obviously we've been praying for a long time for you to get clean, because we thought we were expecting the death call anytime, and so grateful that we didn't have that call. But it was really cool whenever you sent me that picture to be able to message him and say, hey, you want to see something cool? And he's like, maybe. And then I sent him that picture and he's like, yes, that's awesome. So
yes,
I love that.
Yes, it was great.
And I hope that you can continue. I mean, and I know it's just like with your, with your kids, you have to give them the time and take it slow and just let them absorb. And
right. I also have to remember that like, and I said this prayer too whenever I got home and settled down. I was like, okay, God, like, you have my attention. You've had it for a year now, but you have my attention.
You really have it now.
Yeah. You have my attention, and I trust you, and this is me giving my will over to you, and it's like, it's in your hands. And so, on Sunday, whenever I texted and asked if we could go swimming, and he was like, I kind of just want to chill, I cried, and then I quickly was like, you know what? This is okay. Like, he's a 15-year-old boy who just likes video games, for one. For two, it's in his timing, not mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so however I may look like to him in his life, where I can fit in, it's just that period. That's how it has to be. Mm-hmm. And I respect that. And God told me that too. He's like, this, it's not about you now, it's about him, and it's on his time.
Right.
So I stopped crying, and I realized that, and I was like, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
So I calmed down. I mean, even like Saturday, I was like, are you tired of shopping? He was like, I was tired before I woke up. He said, no, I'm sorry. He said, I was tired of shopping before I got here.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, fair enough. But he's absolutely perfect. You know what I mean? Like, he looks like me, so he's handsome. Of course, he gets it all from me.
His dad's not handsome at all.
They did make fun of my eyebrows. They were like, oh yeah, he definitely has your eyebrows. And I was like, get off my eyebrows. And then they had to make fun of my gray hair. I was like, ugh. So then I dyed it.
Because you were...
He was like, did that gray hair come from Chloe and Jesse? I was like... I tried to hide it with my sunglasses. Clearly that didn't work.
Clearly it didn't work. That's funny. I think it's
so wonderful. I'm excited to see where our relationship grows. Like, from here on, I think it's just a huge stepping stone for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a big deal. And just, huge respect for Michael for allowing it to happen.
And I gave him thanks. I did. I gave him thanks for, taking time out of his day to, come chaperone me walking around the mall.
You have to build that trust.
I know. I mean, he did great. He stayed behind us and let us, do our thing. He kept saying, "Y'all, come on, shop. Y'all need to be looking." And Jaden's like, "Dad, we're visiting."
I love that.
So, it was a good, I think it was a very good first meeting. Like, it was just all in God's hands, seriously.
Well, I'm probably going with you next time. Ewan wants to see him too.
Yeah.
I've seen him, I've seen him a few times within the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So, but he wasn't that tall. It's crazy.
He's super tall.
Yeah.
Super tall. Whenever he was like, "Guess what size shoe I wear?" And I was like 11. He was like 12. I was like, "Oh." In big people size. In human feet.
That's awesome.
And even still, I still wandered off to the kids section. He's like, "I'm not in kids anymore." I'm like, I know. Oh, goodness.
Let me pretend for a minute.
Yeah. It was great, though. It was great. I can't wait to continue this. It's going to be awesome.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like something has been, like, filled differently. Like, I feel differently. Even Billy commented on, like, he's like, "You have this whole glow about you." My closest friend the ones who took Chloe and Jesse shopping said the same thing. Like, there's a glow going on, and I'm like, oh, yes, there is a glow. I feel it. I feel differently. Like, I'm not going to say I feel complete, but I feel it, like there's always been something missing.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's,
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
You spend a lot of time and I mean, why wouldn't you beat yourself up?
Right.
I mean, why wouldn't you have all that guilt, all that shame, all those things, and to try to walk out of that?
Yeah.
It's and that's with any addiction, and I coach people every day, and I deal with people who continue to give into the temptation and fall, and it's like, just get back up, and it's but and I can say that, and I can in my heart say, get back up. If you fall down, get back up. It's going to be okay. But whenever you're the one falling, you don't feel that way. You feel this is never going to work, and and then once you're, but like with you, it's like, okay, when I've made all these mistakes, I don't deserve anything.
Yes.
And then to just be reminded that, you are a child of God, and He loves you, and He wants you to have good things, and we're going to have consequences for our actions,
of course.
And that's part of this. But you're facing those things. You're facing that guilt. You're facing that shame. You're facing those hard things, and you're doing the hard things, and you're saying, "I screwed up. I'm trying to get this right." And you're not just speaking those words. You're putting action behind it,
right? And
so, because it doesn't really matter what we say, it really only matters what we do.
Exactly. And someone else said that too, that all the hard work that I've put in behind my sobriety, my recovery, like all the service work, everything that I do to stay sober and to help the next person, everything that I do, it's just shining through me. You know what I mean? Like, but honestly, I work my program the way I work my program to stay sober. I don't do it for any other reason. Like, I don't do it for the praise. I don't do it for, but I do it because that's what I have to do.
Yes, because there are times when I've asked you to do something or whatever, and you're like, I have to do this, and I'm like, oh, are you, why do you because I have to stay busy. I have to stay on task. I have to stay active to stay sober.
Yeah.
And so, and I love that you're learning where your boundaries are. You're learning what you can't do.
Yes. Boundaries are a huge thing. I think it's important for everyone to have boundaries in any area. I'm learning daily how important boundaries are, whether it be, home life, work life, AA. I was like, boundaries are so important for anyone to have, and it will help control any addiction, I do believe. Like, you know what I mean? For instance, food addiction. Food's everywhere, yes, but if you're struggling and you are trying to get right somewhere, don't go sit down at Cheddar's or Dairy Queen. Like, just boundaries, you know, and that doesn't have to be like that forever. Just like when I first got sober, I'm not about to go sit up at Halo. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go dance, and I'm not going to do that. But guess what? 2 weekends ago, I was dancing my little sober heart out, like, and I loved it. When we go on family vacations, there's people that drink on. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. But don't do those things like when you're trying to get right. Okay. For instance, I'm not going to go sit down in a crack house.
Sure.
And visit with people. I have no business being there.
Yeah. Because, I mean,
like, none.
Getting sober, and this is something that I think is getting clean, getting sober, getting over an addiction, dealing with addiction. Obviously, with food addiction, it's difficult because you have to have food to survive, so you can't abstain from your poison, and that's what stinks about it.
Right.
That's what stinks about it. But conquering that doesn't mean you have to be able to be around it and be okay. It's okay to not be around it.
Right. Exactly.
And if you have to not be around it, if you have to take a different route home, it's worth doing that.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, it's whatever it takes. It's like, you know, with like I don't do a diet. It's a lifestyle change. If it's not a lifestyle change, it's not going to be lasting.
Exactly.
Whatever that lifestyle looks like, yours too. Like, there are people you can't go around.
Right.
There are roads you can't drive down.
Exactly. People, places, and things.
And so it's the same thing. It's like when you're taking control, and obviously not everybody that needs to lose weight or whatever is a food addict. That's not what I'm saying at all. And you know, I'm talking about the addiction part of that. That sometimes it means that. Sometimes it means removing people from your life, removing triggers from your life. You know, doing those things. But it's so worth doing whatever it takes.
Right. Exactly.
And so, because whatever has that hold on you, it's going to destroy you.
Right. And I wish that I can work your program like I work my program. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like I work my program whatever it takes. Like, I am willing to go to any length to get this deal, to keep it, to hold on to it, to never be that person I was again. Yeah. Any length.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, you know, in our book. Like, I'm not going to, if someone tells me.
I'm not going to go outside the book.
Yeah. If someone says, well, hey, you got to go do this.
And no, sure.
But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You are willing to do whatever it takes.
Exactly. And so, like, and I think about, like, whenever I'm, you know, not on plan. And I'm like, man, if I could just not go pick up lunch for everyone else. You know what I mean? But it's not their fault. It's my excuse to say, meh, I'm not going to make 2 stops. I'll just get this. You know what I mean? But I didn't have to order the Cinnabon along with the chicken. I could have just ate the chicken. But the Cinnabon looks so good on the menu.
But the truth is, it takes focus. When you're dealing with that, it takes focus. And right now, you have to have your focus on your sobriety.
You're right.
And so don't beat yourself up about that either, because that is number one.
That is, yeah.
And so 6 months from now, you may be in a different place to say, okay, you know what? I can add in a little bit more that I can kind of focus on and get my head wrapped around.
And I hope so. I do. I do hope for that day. I do. You know, for my health reasons, for other reasons, because I'm not getting younger.
Yeah.
You know, I'm only getting older. But I do feel like I have changed a lot. You know, like the smoking. You know, since I've been sober, like the smoking. You know, so there's certain things that I've taken on outside of drugs and alcohol. Of course, I've taken, you know, a turn on. Hopefully, food will be the next one, because I do want. Because, you know, just like I'm not just an addict on drugs. Like, I'm an addict. I get addicted to anything. Yeah. Like, double doozy cookies are my thing. Yeah. And I hold on to them. Like, it's just, I'm addicted to anything. You know what I mean? Like, I switched from, okay, for instance, whenever we had our softball tournament, my mother-in-law bought us this Propel water, right? And like I have to have that water. Like that's the only water that I feel that can go into my body. Right? Any other water is gross and I can't get it down. It's just those things like whenever I find something I like, I just stick. Yes.
Whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Same.
So.
And I'm so. I'm sorry. I am so grateful that I didn't. That I was too chicken or too whatever to go that way with the drugs, because I would have been in the same situation. I would have been in the same situation.
Yeah.
Because if you like it, you gotta have it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And right now, you're addicted to recovery.
Exactly. Which I'm gonna take that and hold on to it for as long as forever. Not for as long as possible. For as long as God allows me to be.
Yeah. I'm addicted to recovery too.
I love it.
I like seeing that people, the thing is, we're not special. We're just real people, and we made a decision. Mm-hmm. And when you make the decision and you put the work in, you get the results.
Right. Good things happen. Blessings happen.
But it's making the decision.
Exactly.
If we can help you make a decision, we would love to serve you anyway.
Yes.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it. I gotta go get kids ready for school.
I'm sorry. That'll be me next Sunday night. Y'all, you gotta pray for me with Carly and homeschool. Okay, we love you guys, and we'll see you next Monday night.
Next Monday. Bye. Y'all have a good night. Love you.